Hello, everyone. My name is Devon Riley, and I am a solution consultant for ServiceNow, specializing in our IT operations management product. During this presentation, what we'll be discussing is our San Diego release on the Now platform, specifically the solution of our IT operations management. Now, as you can see on this slide, there are a group of new features added to the platform to help our customers interested in ITOM. However, this presentation will be focusing on the features included in our IT operations management governance solution. So, with companies moving to the cloud, they're constantly searching for better ways to migrate workloads, stay compliant with enterprise policies, and ensure applications and services perform the way they should. ITOM Governance is a brand new set of applications enabling IT and cloud operations teams to manage all things around the cloud, governance such as tagging enforcement, configuration analysis, and migration assessment. While companies are moving to multi-cloud in a rapid pace, they face unforeseen obstacles while planning, migrating, and post-migration. Due to the lack of proper visibility into their current infrastructure and supported application and service capabilities, IT teams often face delays in the middle stages of the migrations. There are also day two management nightmares with service delivery. To manage a complex on-prem transition to the cloud and ensuring enterprise-wide policy management and compliance, companies have asked for ServiceNow's IT operations management governance capabilities. With companies moving to the cloud, they're constantly searching for better ways to migrate workloads, stay compliant with enterprise policies, and ensure applications and services perform the way they should. To help companies prepare and manage cloud resources and processes, ServiceNow is bringing new governance workflows. For instance, your teams get alerts and can remediate changes in configuration that violate existing policies within minutes, so that configuration drift does not go undetected. IT and cloud teams can create cloud migration assessments by discovering infrastructure, running processes and their dependencies, aiding in migration waves. So we aren't just making it easier for IT and cloud teams to plan and execute a successful migration in a timely manner. We are also making sure once you get to the cloud, you have the capabilities available to leverage a single platform to ensure you are maintaining a compliant infrastructure wherever your workloads live. This functionality will be available with IT Operations Management AIOps Enterprise V2 license. The Cloud Action Library may require additional subscription to Automation Engine Enterprise. Now what I'll do from here is end the presentation and jump into a demonstration for you all. So the first thing I want to pay attention to is the Cloud Configuration Governance application. Within this application, you'll have access to out-of-the-box policies, or you can create your own custom policies to manage your cloud governance. You can create policies on tag governance, or even forcing policies around how users should be managing their IAM rules within AWS, or even the VM hardware types for those workloads when they do move to the cloud. Let's say, as an example, I jump into a policy around AWS VM hardware management. In this policy, I have the platform configured to look at any EC2 instance deployed to my environment, and I need to make sure that when a resource is deployed, it is on a T2 micro. That is the policy for our company. So if you go into the public cloud and you deploy a T2 nano or a T2 extra large, that's going to get a flag, and I will actually get an audit record for that violation for someone on my team to go into the platform and remediate that issue or leverage a remediation workflow. So not only is this valuable for us to be able to understand how we're managing our cloud when we have different teams like DevOps teams or application teams deploying their own resources, but we can make sure that whether it's tag governance, naming conventions, or even the hardware type, that they're deploying resources in the appropriate manner with the right configurations that do not violate company policies. Now, what you also have access to with ITOM Governance is going to be the Cloud Migration Workspace. This is a one-stop shop for me to get an insight into all of my on-prem resources that have been found and embedded in our CMDB based off of ServiceNow Discovery, while also being able to use the same workspace to plan my migrations in a timely manner. So I have in my workspace 111 servers And I have a full breakdown of those servers by their CI classes, whether they be Windows servers, Linux servers, Solaris, Unix. And I have a breakdown of the categories they reside in, whether they're on-premise, in the public cloud, or within VMware. I can jump into my servers and VMs list. And what this will do is show me a breakdown of all of my resources in my environment that may have been assigned or unassigned to a cloud migration task already. I can click on any of these individual records, like my application server, PeopleSoft server. And this will give me information about the different components that make up that server. I know from this pane, it's undecided about where this workload will reside. I know it's currently still living on-premise today, and it's a physical server. And I even have insight into all the different specs and operating systems for this particular resource. So I know it's a Linux server. I have insight into the CPU and the memory capacity for that particular resource and its manufacturer. So as people are planning for migration to the public cloud, one of the biggest things that they need to make sure is that as they move workloads, they're mapping them to the right instance type so they're not going to run out of resources or even be over-provisioned once migrated. So I can start to use this to plan out what types of instance type configurations I should leverage so that my workloads are going to be supported from a configuration perspective, but they'll have the right amount of resources to maintain service delivery. In the same migration workspace, I can even look at all the discovered applications within my environment, where my IT and cloud operations teams can work with the application teams to make sure that we have a full insight into all the different resources that make up any given application within my environment. This is important so that as we're doing migrations, we're making sure that components of applications are not being left behind. Or if we have incorrectly mapped a group to a specific server, we can exclude those servers from those groups and make sure that when we do move workloads to the cloud, everything's getting moved in totality. So in any given scenario where I'm going to migrate my workloads to the public cloud, I can even come into the platform and I can select specific servers to plan out in a migration. So let's say I grab that same server I was looking at before and even look at my CAR 2, my CAR 4, and the database server to migrate to the cloud. What I can do is I can add those to an assessment. I can pick an existing assessment, or I can create a new assessment task. By creating a new assessment task, it'll create an assessment record that can be assigned to a migration team or group. They can assign it to an individual to work on as a part of their projects. And in this one form, I can keep track of all the different processes for this assessment group. I can pick the target cloud provider for those workloads. I can determine what migration wave they should be a part of. Is this something that's going to be in Q2 or Q3? Or am I going to push this off for the latter half of 2024? We even have something called the R disposition as a part of this record, where you can let people know in the organization, I want to rehost this application. I want to re-platform, refactor, re-architect, or even retire it altogether. So this is going to be our one-stop shop for all the planning steps required in migrating our workloads or even retiring workloads that are no longer necessary to maintain service delivery. Now, jumping back into my presentation, again, we're going to be able to provide companies the confidence they need to ensure that they are going to have a successful migration strategy. And once their workloads do get to the public cloud, they're not going to leave anything behind, and they're going to be able to maintain their compliance as they start to deploy more resources in a different environment. And so, because we listen to our customers and understand their challenges in order to best support their needs, this is why the world works with ServiceNow. Thank you for attending this presentation.